website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Hey, principles are where the secret lies to your rapid development. What does that mean? Are there secrets, Claus? Are there principles? Well, principles are like wisdom. In this video, I'm going to give you the key to just developing much faster than anybody around you, really. Because most often we're basing our practicing sessions on information, like what should I practice at my stage of development? And there's nothing wrong with those informational, bits and pieces. But, and what's theory and how are chords connected? All information, and that's the only thing we think about when we think about teaching. But principles has the power to just make you learn 10, 20, 30 times faster. So what is the principle? That's wisdom. There's information, bits and bytes, and then there's wisdom. And wisdom is principles. What is a principle? It's a thing. It's an idea that works in every walk of life, every area of life. And you see it everywhere suddenly. Oh, that's why that works. Oh, it works there as well. Oh, it works here as well. So it very rapidly creates a conviction. Beliefs are something that we have because we know them to be true. There is gravity because we experience gravity every day, right? We can't see it, we can't even feel it, but we can feel it, right? It's a thing that's around us or that's in the world. And so we believe in it, right? Because we can see the effects of it. A conviction is something you believe so strongly there's absolutely no doubt in your mind at all, right? And principles create convictions, and convictions create massive energy. Because suddenly, if I give you a principle and you say, oh, that's why I couldn't get results on this instrument. And suddenly you know how. Then you go, oh, it works there, it works here, and that's why he got results that fast. Now I know. And then suddenly the brain goes, wow, we can really do this, right? So motivation, inspiration, passion comes from principles once we discover them. Because we develop convictions in no time, right? So what is this video about? It's about explaining to you what a principle really is and just to compare it to another area, walk of life. Because and this is not a workout video. Please understand me that I'm not talking about me or working out. I'm talking about what a principle is and what works and trying to sell you on 2 specific principles that are the most important to your guitar development. And the way I'm selling them to you is to compare them to another, because I used to work out. I still work out, but I worked out from I was 20 because I was a skinny guy and I wanted to develop some, muscles and look better. For the ladies, and I didn't succeed. I could just get a little, something happened and I had to keep that up. And I hated working out because I didn't get results. And what I was basically doing is I was doing a lot of exercises, the same exercises all the time, and I didn't rest properly in between. I did Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I just did the chest, I did everything, like 10, 12 exercises, and I hated doing them all. It was just, a drag, right? But I felt I had to in order to not completely go, worm-like state. But once I started applying the 2 principles of focus and concentration, everything changed, and it was overnight. I had more muscular development in 1 month than I had in 10 years. And the same thing goes for this instrument. The same thing happened here. I just wasn't clever enough to apply the principles that I found worked on this instrument to my workout routine. But when I did, bam, I got the same fast results as I did when I was practicing. So let's talk just a little bit about what happened there in the gym. And then we can apply it and talk about what happens here on the guitar. It's the same thing exactly. And the reason why we do this is to create a conviction in you, right? That, inspires you and gives you passion and, a new eureka moment. So what I did over here, I was doing a lot of exercises, right? Like most people do a lot of exercises here, or a lot of different things. We practice chords and scales and theory and all kinds of stuff in a loop, right? Which doesn't work. It brings you to mediocre, and then you have to stay there for the rest of your life, and you never really get to the point you want to get to. When I was doing my workout routine, it was a little different exercises all the time until I said, okay, how does the principle of focus apply? And focus means you take one little exercise, one little thing you do, and then you hammer away at it. You kill it. You bring it all the way up to mastery, all the way up to as good as you can possibly be at that, right? Instead of playing 8 chords in the song, then the next song, then the next, and you stay with this level of, you have to take a little break in between the chords. It takes forever to get that level of mastery, right? Instead of that, you take 2 chords and then you hammer and you keep at it, and you don't strum 8 times in between each chord, because that's a waste of time if you're focusing on learning to fretting the chords, right? Then why would you do this? Hello, what are you doing? You're spending most of your time strumming, and you're doing it poorly because you're not focusing on it, what you're actually doing here. Right? So stick with this one strum to test whether or not you're actually fretting the chord right. That's focus, right? So in the gym, I said, instead of doing 5 different exercises for my chest and my triceps, is there one exercise that involves more muscles than any of the other? And there is. It's bench pressing. So on a bench, weight above you, and then you push up. That will involve your triceps, your chest, everything else, shoulders. There's so many muscles involved in that one exercise, and that's how it is here. No matter what you want to learn, there's one exercise that can give it to you. Okay, so I not only did that. So one exercise is that I'm going to be, all I'm going to measure here is how well I do. I'm going to add weight. That's the only thing I focus on. I forget about growing anything else. I just focus on becoming very good at bench pressing. So instead of doing a lot of different exercises, I did like 12 reps or 12 sets on that one exercise. Just kept at it, right? Started with low weight, then I increased the weight gradually, and then I went down again until I just killed those muscles, right? And that was the only thing I thought about. But there's a second principle here of concentration. What does that mean? That means that you not only focus on one thing, you concentrate all your resources, all your energy in that one point, as fast as possible or as condensed as possible. What does that mean when you practice? It means that you take one exercise and then you take every available minute or second and put in all your passion, all your enthusiasm. You think about what that exercise will do for you, just playing those 3 notes on one string, how cool it will be, all your emotional resources. You visualize how that will be playing on stage, and then, how cool that will be. So all your emotions is invested in it, your time is invested in it. You playing in front of the TV with the metronome everywhere, right? That's concentration of effort and energy. And the same thing went over here. Instead of just practicing one exercise, which is focus, right? The one exercise that will do more for you than any other single exercise or any other single activity. Like in any other endeavor here, there's one thing you can do that will mean more to your development than any other single thing. Right hand, left hand, chords, picking, whatever it is. And find that focal point. Find that one point that you can focus on and be constantly looking for it, right? In every area here. Over here, instead of just doing it like everybody else was doing, up and down, I thought, okay, where am I the strongest? I put on weight, but the fact is that I can't put on more weight than I can lift in this situation, right? This is where I'm weakest. If I'm lying down like that, I'm trying to push up, right? This is where I can lift the least amount of weight. If I'm out here, that's a natural pushing position. So I stood up and I said, okay, where would I push a guy? If, I was at war or fighting somebody or I was trying to push a wall away from me, where would I push? It's about here, right? This is where I'm the strongest, like that. So I said, okay, this is the position. So I put on twice as much weight, concentration, right? And then I just lifted it like this. I couldn't even take it out of the hooks because I couldn't have, I didn't have any control over it. After this point, I would just go like that. So you have to be careful if you do this. Have a friend or really be careful. And please don't come to me and sue me because you broke your ribs or something like that. So you have to be careful. But suddenly I was only doing bench pressing and I was only doing it up here. And I just piled weight on. I went from down, up and down. So I warmed up and then down again. Once I was done here, I just took it down, took all the weight down until I was down to the least amount again, right? And my growth exploded. Over the next 8 weeks, it was like, wow, right? It was like that miracle thing you hope will happen when you watch that YouTube video of the guy who was fat and lazy, and then suddenly he was like, ta-da, right? And that's before and after. That happened, right? That was oh my, geez, I should have done this 20 years ago. I've been just hating it. Suddenly I got results. I loved it. It was a totally different activity when I practiced, because just like when you're practicing guitar and you're focusing on a single thing or a couple of things and you're hammering away at it over a month, then after that month you actually have a measurable, bright result that you can show to yourself and say, this actually works. And the brain goes, oh, so all that energy goes into something we can actually use. Instead of the constant low level of motivation you get from doing a little of each all the time, and you get a little results, and it's kind of, we like it, and, that doesn't work. You need to go, wow, that's a result. And then on to the next thing and on to the next thing. Did the same thing with all the body parts. So I ended up doing 3 exercises: bench pressing for the chest and triceps, and then, what do you call it? You call it chin-ups or, cable in the beginning, and then just adding more and more weight. And instead of doing the whole movement of pulling myself up like that, I just did it where I was strongest, right? And then I pile it on. Then I had weight between my legs because my own body weight was too little, and it just works like, it's amazing. And squats, right? 3 exercises and then just hammer away at them, and a partial movement there. And there's a lot of fitness guys who would say, oh, I have a lot of information for you. No, Claus, this is not the point. This is not an exercise program for you. It's just the point about focusing on one thing and then concentrating all your efforts and energy in one place. It will absolutely change your results and your experience and your passion and your enjoyment and your happiness about playing guitar, and it will give you those skills that you need. I just have to answer one question before we move on here and we go on to the next video tomorrow, and that is because most people say, but if I focus on one thing, I won't learn all the freaking things that are to learn on the guitar. It's amazing. I got all these things to learn, so I need to practice a lot of different things every single day. No, you don't. You need to take one thing to mastery, then every other thing that looks just a little bit like that one thing you master will be infinitely easier to learn. Right? If you learn 2 chords like this, learn at that level, then practicing all other chords where you use 3 fingers will be, 3, 4, 500% easier and faster. That's talent. Or that's what we think is talent, right? We just see it as a magical quality. It's not. It's mastery. It's obsession, right? And the same thing goes for if you can pick on one string, right? Then learning all other picking is just so much easier. But most people never get to that level where everything becomes easier because they stay at that level where you do a little of each, like I did for 20 years in the gym, right? Without getting results. I stayed mediocre in that context, right? So that's a principle. Focus and concentration. It will, and just for the finishing line here, what is the one thing that you could do in your relationship, whatever relationship that is, that will absolutely change or transform that relationship? What is the one thing you can do with focus and concentration when it comes to your work, when it comes to your whatever, your finances, whatever, right? And I'm not saying that because this is a personal development program. I'm just saying once the brain gets that, wow, that's why that worked. That's why this worked, right? Then you create that conviction, and then suddenly you look at your guitar and you think, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready to follow this path instead of constantly being put off rails or go in the wrong direction because I need to practice a lot of things each day. The other thing because that's what your intuitive brain tells you to do. Practice a lot of things all the time. When you have that conviction because you can see the principle wherever you go, then suddenly you have something that is strong enough to overrule that monkey part of the brain. To go for the levels again, but to overrule that intuitive feeling and actually do the most intelligent, the most effective by far action or strategy that you can possibly do. That's what that conviction does and that principle. I hope this makes sense. This is so important. And I should say, by the end of this video, that we have a new program out that's all about exercises for the right hand, which is going into the gym and pushing far more weight than you need to in order for your everyday life or everyday playing to become much easier. So click the link below the video, go there, and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.